Ay, Corona.
Yo, it's Dave and Johnny live. I'm Dave, and he's... Wait a second. He's Johnny. Hey, Johnny.
Hey.
Now, let's see.
You kind of spoiled that right there.
What's that? Yeah, I spoiled it. It's not just Johnny on this edition of Dave and Johnny Live, but also Dave and also AJ. Where's AJ?
AJ Exotic.
There you go.
AJ and also Freddie Garcia. Hold on a second. Freddie Garcia. There he is. What's up, Fred?
In the house.
I'm good.
Yeah, Fred is here. AJ's here. Johnny North is here. You saw me during the thing at the beginning. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but our mics were on the whole time. Like, when I was doing the standby screen, I could hear us, and I could also see me during the standby screen. So we're trying new technology, and it didn't fully work according to plan. But we're on. The most important thing is the show is on right now. Johnny North is here on Dave and Johnny Live, and for the first time ever, we have AJ and Fred on Dave and Johnny Live. AJ and Fred, of course, from Ringside Report, the MMA show, you guys know. And we are going to be reviewing all together Tiger King, the Netflix show, and we'll also be taking any kind of UFC or WWE or AEW questions that you guys may have, because you have, for the first time ever on one show, I don't think this has ever happened before, the entire Ringside Report network, the Core 4, on one show at the same time. Has this ever happened before, guys?
Never. Well, did we do a watch along? Yeah, for WrestleMania. No, Fred wasn't there. It's true. This is the first time. Congratulations.
First time. It's pretty crazy.
Four horsemen.
Man, the crew's in the house.
We're all here. Johnny, what do you think about this? We're allowing AJ on Dave and Johnny Live. We talked about it last week. We're a bit worried about it, but, I think it'll be all right.
AJ Exotic.
I was just worried if it was going to work. It worked, though.
Yeah, it worked. We're seeing AJ. We're seeing Fred. Everybody's here. We all watched Tiger King. Everybody's watched Tiger King. If you haven't watched Tiger King, go watch it and then come back and watch this, because we're probably going to spoil a lot of Tiger King for you. We're not going to hold back on what happens in the end, because I want to know, you guys, what your theories are on, Joe Exotic being in prison and all that type of stuff. All right?
Free Joe Exotic.
Well, AJ's showing his colors already.
Yeah, AJ is on Team Joe Exotic, obviously. Johnny North, I'm not sure where you stand. I love the show. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. It was a crazy story. The people that own big cats really are just wild people. I don't understand. I was shocked at how many tigers you're allowed to own. I knew you were allowed to own a tiger. I remember seeing Mike Tyson back in the day with a tiger. I knew he owned a tiger, so I knew it was possible in the United States as just a person to own a tiger, right? But I didn't know you could own like a whole gang of tigers. I didn't know you could be breeding tigers, and these people seem to be breeding tigers. And it was pretty crazy to me seeing that this was even legal and possible, and how cheap it was to just buy a tiger. You could buy a tiger for $2,000. It's like, what? What are you talking about? It was crazy, right? Like, Fred, weren't you surprised at how easy it was to have tigers?
Yeah, well, you got to feed it after you pay that $2,000,
yeah.
and that's a lot of money also. But yeah, I was surprised how easy, but also at the end, in the credit, they go, I think there's like 5 to 10,000 tigers, they say, like in homes like that, like in private zoos in the United States. So I was surprised also by the amount of people. Like you said, I knew some people had tigers. I didn't know there was that many tigers. And I didn't know also it was like that open to the public, like, billboards announcing it and all that. Like, to me, in Montreal, we got a couple of little zoos, but it seems like our zoos are more like controlled, or there's more regulation, whereas in that documentary it seemed like pretty much anybody could have that.
Yeah, that's it. In Canada, the zoos are a little bit more regulated than they seem to be in the United States. I've never seen anything anywhere around here where you could pet a baby tiger. AJ, have you ever pet a baby tiger? You've done some weird stuff.
Back in the days, I did touch a tiger, but I was just gonna say to Freddie, actually.
What do you mean you touched a tiger? Whoa, stop! What do you mean you touched a tiger?
Who hasn't touched a tiger?
I haven't touched a tiger.
Touch a tiger.
How did you touch a tiger?
They have bad breath, man. Woo-wee. It's terrible. But
he's not going to answer the question. Another AJ. What circumstances? Where were you where you touched a tiger? Where?
Am I allowed to say?
Yes.
I was in the States and I was at a Hooters. But the thing is
What? You touched a tiger at a Hooters in the States? What are you talking about?
Tiger.
A small,
it's a long time ago. Long story.
Why was there a tiger in a Hooters?
days.
What state?
What's Hooters, man?
What state?
That was in North Dakota.
North Dakota.
North or south? North or south? One of the two.
Okay, so one of the Dakotas, you touched a tiger at a Hooters.
Yeah,
what
man.
are you talking about?
It was a little Hooters.
And
sure wasn't a cougar?
Well, it was actually a big Hooter, but it was a little tiger.
My goodness, that's incredible.
But listen, Dave. Actually, Fred, I don't know if you know about this, but back in the summer of this year, there was
a tiger.
There was an alligator walking on the streets of Saint Laurent. You saw the video? Did you see that go viral?
I know some people will go. Go against the law. Like once in a while, you'll have a story about like a snake that escapes in an apartment building. That would be like my worst fear. Luckily, I have my own home that side, but like I wouldn't want to live in an apartment building where somebody has snakes and one of them just like evades their cage and just wanders around in the building.
That happened though in the Tiger King. People lost their animals and they like escaped. Like that was terrible.
Well, actually, what's interesting is statistically is showing that there's more tigers in captivity than in the wild, which doesn't make any sense. It's incredible. I mean, yeah, and you're right. There was a footage of all the animals escaping because one of the zookeepers released it out on the community, and they killed like I don't know how many hundreds of animals. Which is, I mean, that guy there should be charged, and hopefully he's in jail. You know who I'm talking about.
Which guy now?
It was on the Tiger King. It was part of the clip where they had a zookeeper for some reason decided to let all his animals out because he couldn't afford it. And they went out on the community and then like they basically had a shutdown and they had to shoot the animals.
Yeah, I saw that guy.
Terrible.
Yeah, well, they did. That guy went to jail for sure. And it is very dangerous to have those types of animals. Even for a guy like Joe Exotic to be handling those animals doesn't seem right. Even for a guy like Jeff Lowe, the guy who seemed to take everything from Joe Exotic there in the end, that was a real greasy character. He reminded me of like Julian from the Trailer Park Boys, but like slightly more successful. You know what I mean?
With a fling, with a lot
it's funny you mentioned. It's funny you mentioned Trailer Park Boys because they were at Big Cat Rescue in the Trailer Park Boys season Out of the Park USA.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, which one's Big Cat Rescue? That's Carol Baskin?
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, Carol Baskin. So, guys, let's just take a poll here. Carol Baskin killed her husband and fed him to the tigers. What do you guys think? Yes or no?
Hell
Very
yeah.
possible.
Probably not.
Johnny,
Probably
yes or
not.
no? Johnny, yes or
Hell
no?
yeah.
You guys are saying
I think it probably happened.
Johnny says probably yes.
I'll say yes.
I say probably yes as well. I don't know. His kids seem to think that that's what happened. I believe that. I think she probably fed him to the tigers. Fred, you don't think she fed him to the tigers?
Wasn't he like also in Costa Rica or something like that? Or a rumor? Like I don't know. Maybe she did, but they would find enough proof to charge her with it. But hey, she seemed to know what to put on somebody to get the tiger to want to eat it. Because when Joe was getting attacked, and she just said like, "Oh, you put fish oil to get a tiger to eat somebody." That just put the chills.
That's right. She knew exactly what she was doing,
Listen,
Fred. Good point.
That's 2 points there. One was the sardine oil, and the second point is when O.J. Simpson comes out and says, "Oh yeah, she's guilty." You know she's guilty. O.J. says she's guilty. You didn't hear about that? O.J.'s like,
yeah.
I saw it.
Who cares? Who cares what O.J. says? O.J. says he's not guilty. Okay, I don't really listen to O.J.'s opinion of guilty or not guilty. Ridiculous.
Well, when it comes to murder, man, O.J. knows the juice don't run there.
Man, when Joe Exotic, the point where the tiger grabs him and like starts dragging him, and he like has to shoot his gun, that was crazy. That was my favorite part of the whole movie because it's like, yeah, man, this is what should happen when you mess with these animals. Well, that
girl that got her arm chewed.
Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense to me. Like Joe Exotic, when he got dragged by the tiger, that was one of my favorite parts of the whole show.
Well, as much as I also think Joe burnt down his own studio, though.
You think he burnt it down himself?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
For the insurance money or what?
Yeah, and the attention.
I don't know.
Well, it was
I'm
also
not sure.
the crocodile farm. It was the crocodile farm that burnt as well, along with it. So that was pretty sad. And I found out something. Those crocodiles, believe it or not, they used to belong to Michael Jackson on his Neverland estate. So Joe Exotic got those crocodiles from Michael Jackson. Does this story get any crazier?
What? Really?
They went up in flames. They went up in flames like Michael did with the Pepsi commercial. They were gone.
You want to hear something even crazier? I think you said this to me, AJ. This is the craziest part of all, right? Is that everybody's watching this show, everybody's at home because of this coronavirus thing, right? Meanwhile, Joe Exotic, the star of the show, is in prison where everybody's getting coronavirus because everybody's in close confinement. And there was a story from The Mirror in the UK, which is like a tabloid, so take it for what it is. But there's a story that Joe Exotic may have coronavirus, which is so crazy. Like, it kind of comes full circle, you know? It's like, what? Now Joe Exotic has coronavirus? First Tom Hanks, then Joe Exotic? I mean, how will America recover?
It's almost scripted.
Yep. You know,
It's
and
crazy.
there's so many crazy things. Listen, you had that guy Doc. Remember Doc?
Doc Antle. Yeah, that guy with all the
Antle.
different women there that are his wives or whatever he's got going on. He's got tigers and women. He's got a whole weird deal going on. That guy was one of the slimiest guys of the whole thing. Everybody's so slimy in this thing. Everybody's greasy.
And the craziest
definitely.
part is,
AJ,
go ahead, Fred. I was going to say Doc actually. Oh, go ahead.
Well, Joe, everybody likes to romanticize Joe, but Joe also is very greasy. Like, I'll tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
He likes the attention. He's in it for the attention. He loves the camera. And I'm not too crazy about Joe. I know a lot of people love Joe, but that episode where one of his husbands kills himself it's not a nice picture of Joe. Like, it shows him in a very bad light.
That's right. And he was preying on these young guys, these young vulnerable guys, and then
addicted,
and then giving them drugs. He knew that they were addicted to drugs. You know, there's all this stuff that he was doing to these young guys, and it didn't seem right. You know, I don't think that Joe Exotic was any kind of a hero in all of this. I don't think Joe Exotic deserves to be in prison right now for what he did. I don't really understand how he gets like 22 years of jail when the guys who helped him set up he's in there for like plotting to murder Carol Baskin, right? So he goes to jail. The guy that he gave money to turns on him. The other guy who helped plan it, Jeff Lowe, he turns on him as well. They do no jail time somehow, and Joe Exotic goes to jail. Like, it definitely seems like Joe Exotic was the rube here in this scheme. Jeff Lowe kind of schemed them, and he came out on the wrong end of it, and that's why he's going to jail. Like, that That's what it seems like to me. You know, like, okay, Joe Exotic is no innocent guy here. He's no great guy. I am not impressed with Joe Exotic in any kind of way. He's no hero, but I think he got the raw deal here in this whole story.
Dave, listen, you know what? Look, I'm not here to defend Joe, but to be honest, man, like if you look at this series, he really did have an appreciation for animals. The thing is that his life went downhill when he made a deal with the devil. He made a deal with Jeff, and ever since he made that deal with Jeff, it was the end of Joe Exotic. And Jeff, to be honest, I mean, he's still running the farm. They're not making any money apparently, but you know what? If you look at all the setup, I think there was a setup for Joe to get framed. Everything from the hidden cameras in the office that were like perfectly set up, and for Jeff to be asking Joe like all these crazy questions. And the thing with Joe is that he's a loudmouth, and I'm sure if he was under the influence like John Jones was, he'll probably spew out things that he shouldn't be saying, and he probably didn't mean it. So the thing is this: I think Joe got framed, and Baskin fed her ex-husband to the Tigers. And another thing is this, is that tigers are I think maybe one of the only animals, I'm not 100% sure here, but I do know that tigers, if they do consume a human, they're able to dissolve the bones. With the acidity in a tiger's stomach, they're able to get those bones gone. So that is something interesting. And in fact, I think they've reopened the case to a Carol Baskin ever since this docuseries ended. So they're doing a new investigation down there in the States.
Yo, AJ, your mic is kind of muffled. Is your mic in that mask or something? What's going on there? Your microphone.
What mask? I don't have a mask.
What do you have on your collar? What's going on there? You got like a thing. What is that?
That's my kerchief. That's my Joe kerchief, man.
Yeah, but I think your microphone is under that and your like voice is muffled. You are terrible at this, even by remote.
What are you talking about?
Like your volume is low.
My microphone is on the freaking camera.
Your microphone's on the camera?
Yeah, man. What do you think it is?
Oh, you don't have a proper microphone on your headset there? What's the matter with you? Get your act together, AJ. You should be investing in equipment in this point. What are you doing? We're doing all these broadcasts remotely. You got a camera microphone? Step it up. Step up your setup, AJ.
What are you talking about? This is like top technology here.
AJ makes a good point, though.
Thank you, Fred. It's Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny, how does he make a good point?
Joe made all those death threats against Carol. It's his own fault.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure he's in the wrong. Joe Exotic is not a good guy. He plotted to murder this woman, and he paid this guy to do it. But I just don't understand how these other two guys kind of, they kind of pushed it along, and they don't serve any time. It doesn't seem to make sense. And they're still doing what they're doing with tigers and baby tigers and everything. And that part of it, I think, is terrible. I think everybody that's keeping these tigers in confinement and is breeding these tigers is terrible. You shouldn't be breeding tigers to confinement. If you have tigers that are in cages, that means that they, were taken from somewhere where somebody wasn't treating them right and you're trying to give them a better life. That's one thing. But, continuing to breed tigers to profit and keep them in confinement, that's a horrific practice, and that needs to stop. That's got to be illegal.
So you got these three guys involved, okay? So it's Jeff, Joe, and what's the other guy's name? The guy that was paid for the murder? Doc.
Okay, no. The guy that was paid for the murder wasn't Doc. It was the plumber. What's his name? I don't know.
Glover.
But who is the poster boy of the three? Who is like
Jeff Lowe?
If you're thinking
the affliction guy.
No, you see, I kind of disagree. I think Joe Exotic being always in the media and all that, he's the guy that people know. So he's the face of all that. So I understand with this case, like they were saying in the documentary, the case was kind of flimsy. They needed somebody to corroborate. So they decided to go after the guy they thought was probably the poster boy of all this. Like, that's my perception of it.
Yeah, that's a fair point, I guess. But it does seem like just in the documentary that he was kind of the rube that Jeff Lowe kind of fooled, right? They make it seem that way.
And it might have been
he wasn't.
Like Jeff Lowe. Like, he's far from being a good person. That guy, that scene where the lion gets a little like rough and he's just like pushing the lion to the ground, telling his girlfriend to get out of the cage. I was like, oh, okay, this guy seems like a bad person.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with any of these people in this show. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. It was a good show, and man, that Joe Exotic is quite a character. You know, if nothing else, he's a good reality show. But what he was doing with Tigers was not cool, man. At the very least, what he was doing with the Tigers was not cool.
Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, he was taking care of the Tigers in the beginning days.
No.
It's not like he was harming them.
No, but come on, man. He was breeding tigers. You shouldn't be breeding tigers to keep them in cages.
But was that
he's feeding them cheap Walmart meat
and selling them? You shouldn't be breeding tigers for money. It's not right. Tigers belong in the wild. Tigers do not belong in cages. And you shouldn't be breeding them to a life of confinement. That's horrible.
You know what freaked me out? There was a part where one of the staffers, Kelsey, I don't know if you remember her, she was missing an arm. And I was like, why is this girl missing an arm? And at one point, they explained what happened. She got attacked while she put her arm in a cage, and it got literally, like, mangled. And then you see Joe fly in, and he's like, he's wearing an EMS jacket. Like, yeah. He's like, he has every jacket you can imagine ready for the scene. That was classic.
What do you think happens when you mess with tigers? Eventually somebody's going to lose an arm, you know?
Not if you're at Hooters.
Okay. Yeah, well, I don't understand why you touched a tiger at Hooters. I still don't understand. Have you guys ever touched a tiger? I've seen tigers, right? Didn't we we see tigers at what zoo were we at? Park Safari?
Park Safari?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what's the deal with those tigers?
Yeah, good point.
Well, I mean, we can't touch them. You can't put your hands
No, but
through
like
the cage
where did they get their
ones.
tigers?
Joe
I
Exotic.
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, maybe they got them from Joe Exotic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to this made me start to wonder about all zoos, and it's like, yeah, where are we getting these animals from, and should zoos even exist at this point in time? Like, should we be doing this to animals where we just kind of keep them in cages so we could go and be like, oh, that's what a tiger looks like? It's like, no. I don't know, man. I like seeing tigers, but I don't know if I like seeing tigers and knowing how terrible their lives are.
Look, you know, when you talk about, I was gonna say, when you talk a lot about like celebrities, you have like Britney Spears that had a video, and in the background you'll see like her snake that she had, and in the background there's a tiger, and next to the tiger you can see it on the video. Who's there? It's Doc. So it just goes to show you like how far these guys can spread in like so many different circles. So it makes you wonder, like some of these zoos that we have here, say in Canada, who's to say that they didn't get their animals from Joe Exotic or Doc Antle or even Carol Baskin for that matter?
Yeah.
Or the movies, like they were saying in the documentary, a lot of movies would come to Joe for scenes where they need an animal. So, you know, that's how you get your name out there and all that.
Yeah, I don't think it's right to be doing this to tigers. Free the tigers. I mean, no, don't literally free those tigers because that would be super dangerous. No. But, you know, some freedom for our tiger friends because it's not cool to be breeding them for captivity.
Welcome
Guys,
to the new Bixby.
Let's take some... What was that? Did you guys hear that?
That was AJ, but I got no clue what it is.
AJ, what was that?
It's my stupid Bixie. It decided to ask a question. What is tiger?
Okay, well, that's weird.
It is weird, man.
So we have questions here. People are jumping on the super chat. I'm seeing Patrick Hamilton. Great seeing everybody. Thank you, Patrick. Daniel Winston, our man, has a professional wrestling question. He says that Matt Riddle could be the replacement for Roman Reigns and the Universal title for this match at WrestleMania. Guys, are you guys watching WrestleMania?
Of course.
Aren't we doing?
Yeah,
we're doing
a watch along, right? Are you guys going to be on the watch along?
Yep.
I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, you are supposed to be,
too.
Johnny.
Johnny,
Forget
you're
my
only the
fee.
professional here.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, we got it all.
How about a baby tiger?
We got it all handled. We're going to be doing the WrestleMania watch along. All of us, we're going to be watching WrestleMania here with you. Do you guys want to see Braun Strowman against Goldberg or Matt Riddle against Goldberg? I'd much rather see Matt Riddle.
Well, I think it
Yeah.
kind of doesn't really matter what we think in a sense because they've already filmed this, right? It filmed like last week.
Yeah.
And if Meltzer says that he thinks Braun Strowman wrestled him, then I believe Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, I think it's probably Braun Strowman. That's the word I heard as well. Not just from Meltzer, but a couple different sources were saying that, right?
Yeah.
I stayed away from this article, but if you go to see supposedly the odds on the fight, you could pretty much know who wins. So people, if you don't want to know who wins, stay away from the odds of the bookmakers.
Well, the odds are the odds, but the odds aren't always right. Like, wasn't Drew McIntyre not the favorite to win the Royal Rumble, and he still won the Rumble?
Yeah, but this has been pre-taped.
Yeah, it's been taped, but, like, I haven't seen spoilers. Like, when wrestling shows are usually taped and the spoilers come out, it's because the fans in attendance spoil it, but because there's no fans in attendance, if it's going to be spoiled, it's going to be from the inside, and I haven't seen anything out there to spoil WrestleMania. I don't know the results. I looked around a little bit a couple days ago. I didn't see anything, and I don't really want to know. I kind of want to be surprised so I can enjoy this as much as possible, but I don't know if there are spoilers out there. John, have you seen anything?
Just on match listings for what day? I think we're getting Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins on Saturday. I think Kevin said it on Raw.
He said it on Raw.
It should air. Yeah, so it should air on Saturday unless they want to mess with him and make him look stupid and have it air on Sunday. Hopefully they don't do that. But I also heard that apparently you're going to get like the Universal title on one day and the WWE title on another day, the NXT Women's title one day, Raw Women's title another day. You're going to get stuff like that.
Okay. I thought they might do a Raw WrestleMania and a SmackDown WrestleMania.
If anything, the opposite. You'll get a Raw match, then a SmackDown match.
Oh, okay. Mix it up. Well, I'd like to see, the match listing. I want to know what days, what's main eventing what days. Do we know that?
I want to say I think it's going to be probably Goldberg the first night, but I'm not 100% sure. You have to double check that. I think it's going to be Brock and probably McIntyre on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to have Becky main event.
That's first night.
She's wrestling the first night, but is she main eventing? Like, she's not main eventing.
Oh, I don't know.
Huh.
I have no idea. I know it's the first night.
Since they pre-taped all of this, you think, like, my question, are the matches like one match, or did they tape it in sequence where they're giving Brock a break so he could have a longer match? Because Brock never does long matches.
Apparently they just taped it, and they're just going to put together how they see fit afterwards. So who knows the order?
Oh, I'm seeing a card here for Saturday night, and then I'm seeing a card for Sunday night. Okay. So I'm seeing Saturday night. This is on Bleacher Report. Saturday, they're saying it's going to be Becky and Shayna, Braun and Goldberg, Cena and Bray, Owens and Rollins, New Day versus Usos versus Morrison and Miz in a ladder match. But isn't Miz not at WrestleMania?
You can survive without the Miz.
Right. So New Day versus Usos, but Miz and Morrison are the tag team champions.
Just get a replacement.
Okay. Elias versus Corbin, and then Alexa and Nikki versus the Kabuki Warriors, and then Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn. That would be Saturday. And then Sunday, we're looking at Drew versus Brock, Taker versus AJ, Edge versus Randy. Big Sunday. Naomi versus Lacey versus Tamina versus Bayley versus Sasha for the SmackDown title. Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza for the Raw tag titles. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte for the NXT. Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley, and Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. So, yeah, Drew, Brock, night 2. Goldberg, Braun, night 1. John Cena, night 1 as well. Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, night 1.
Night 1's better.
Is it? I don't know. You've got Undertaker and AJ and Edge versus Randy and Brock Lesnar on night 2. That's pretty good.
It's good, but overall, I'd go with night one, top to bottom.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We're going to see what? Tomorrow night? Tomorrow's WrestleMania, John. It's pretty weird.
Well, I'm glad this is over 2 days instead of one night where it's just a marathon.
Yeah. All right. We'll be watching tomorrow, WrestleMania. We'll be doing the watch-along. Fred will be here. Johnny will be here. AJ will be here. I'll be here. And if you want to be here, hit me up at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter or Instagram because I think we have room for one more. I think we have room for one more person on this show. So if you want to be on the show, we're going to have all sorts of different people on the show. If you want to be on the show, we're going to have different guests coming in and out for night one and night two. I think my brother's going to be on as well. It's going to be a big party, a WrestleMania 36 watch-along coming up this weekend right here on the YouTube channel. How about it? Subscribe.
Brock Lesnar.
Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Do all those things. Wait a second. I want my guys back. Hey,
oh, that's great.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun. It's great seeing you. It's great hanging out with my friends. You know, I know we're putting on a show and people are watching, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. But selfishly, I haven't really seen my friends in a while, so it's good to see you all at once, you know, at the same time. I saw AJ and Freddie last night doing Ringside Report. I'm seeing all you guys now. Johnny, I'm going to be seeing you in a couple minutes when we record Wrestling Uncensored and we preview WrestleMania. This is a nice way to stay connected, guys. It's good to see you all. I miss you big time.
Get together when this is all done.
Huh?
Did you see the New Jack documentary?
Yeah, I saw the New Jack documentary. It was fantastic. Did you see it?
I did. I felt it was kind of short. I felt there's a lot more you could do on New Jack, but I think they covered the important topics at least.
I thought it was good. You want to review that, Johnny, before we go?
Well, just that I thought it was a good job of just publicizing New Jack, getting him out there. I think New Jack, it's unfortunate he'll never be in WWE because he was too controversial, but he should have been WWE.
Are you kidding me? That was your takeaway from this thing? Your takeaway was that New Jack should have been in the WWE? That's ridiculous, Johnny North. The guy tried to kill people. What are you talking about? What are you saying to me right now? The guy tried to kill people. Watch the documentary. I don't know, Fred and AJ, I guess you guys haven't seen it, but New Jack admitted he tried to kill a guy. He had a scaffold match. He hid a taser. He tased a guy, and then he tossed him over top, off the scaffold, down into the ring. The guy could have died easily. New Jack said he was trying to shoot him harder so that he didn't land in the ring, landed on the floor, and died. And, New Jack is legit crazy. He stabbed people for real in wrestling matches. And Johnny North's takeaway from the documentary is it's too bad that he isn't in the WWE. It's too bad that people don't know more about New Jack. The guy is a psycho. From what I took away from the documentary was, wow, I knew New Jack was a sick fuck. I just didn't realize how sick he was until you compiled all the incidents back to back in one documentary. You realize how sick and terrible of a wrestler New Jack really was, how he's a just stain on the wrestling business, and somebody should have beat his ass a long time ago. Somebody should have, like a Brock Lesnar type, should have taken him to school and busted him up really bad because he deserves a vicious beating. That's what New Jack deserves for what he's done to his fellow wrestler, guys that have put their bodies in his hands. No, New Jack deserves a vicious beating, and I hope he gets his one day. Call Hannibal.
Well,
Call Hannibal.
We're definitely on the opposite ends here. Wow.
Has Hannibal
I
ever wrestled New Jack?
No, I don't think so.
Let's do that, baby. Hannibal's ready for that.
Hey, Johnny, where can I watch this documentary?
What's that, AJ?
Where can I watch this? I want to see it now.
It's on, I watch it on Crave TV. It's Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know. Fred will send you a link.
Oh, okay. I definitely want to see this now.
What,
it's
Fred
really
knows
good.
the dark web?
Fred knows everything.
Well,
Freddie
I'd say
arrested
New
like
Jack
Joe
was a saint,
Exotic.
but he was pushed in those situations.
He was pushed in those situations. Are you kidding me?
He had problems with the guys. The guy didn't want to work with him. And when you get in
So
that
you kill
ring,
him? You kill him.
you shouldn't try to kill him, obviously, but you shouldn't mess with New Jack too as well.
Okay, but he did try to kill them.
Sadly, but I feel like in every instance he has a good reason for why he did it.
For trying to kill somebody, he has a good reason.
Well, with Vic Grimes almost killed him. So I kind of understand why he was mad.
He didn't try
Who
to
says
kill him.
wrestling's fake?
He didn't try to kill him. He just didn't want
Okay,
to do
Vic
this.
Grimes
not
had
right.
on his
No,
head.
he didn't want
they
to do
felt
the
the snap.
spot. He didn't want to do the spot, and New Jack forced him, and bad things happened.
Well, that's it. They didn't show the whole thing, what happened with their history with him and Grimes. Because they did a thing in ECW where Grimes sat on his head when they fell off a scaffolding before. And New Jack was pissed.
Yeah? No, they did show that.
Okay, well, New Jack wasn't happy about that whatsoever.
Yeah, but that wasn't Grimes' fault, is what I'm saying.
Well, New Jack didn't look at it that way.
Yeah, well,
Johnny,
yeah, and then he tried to kill him. It's crazy, John. How are you defending New Jack? Everybody that I talked to that saw this is like, man, New Jack, what a... I mean, I knew he was crazy, and I knew about all these incidents, but when you really stack them up all together, it's just like, whoa, this guy's body of work as far as crazy is like... I didn't know about the stabbing later on. I didn't remember that, you know? But just putting them all together, New Jack was a pretty terrible guy.
Not the Johnny.
Is a terrible, and he's doing this all high on cocaine. He is admittedly drunk and doing coke the whole time while he's wrestling, while he's doing this to people, and probably while he's doing the interview. Like, if somebody doesn't beat up New Jack, the cocaine will. Like, the cocaine is gonna take New Jack one of these days, because you cannot do coke and drink and live like New Jack and live a long and healthy life. You know, like, this guy is really living on the extreme. He's taken extreme championship wrestling to a whole new level. Really crazy.
Tell that to Keith Richards.
Yeah, say that to John Jones. He could beg to differ.
All right, maybe I'm wrong.
They should hook up. Hey, listen, this is a good way for New Jack.
We're losing you.
It's a good way for what? I heard this is a good way for New Jack.
I said it's a good way for John Jones to hook up with New Jack. Tag team.
Okay,
That would be great for both their career.
and that's why we don't have AJ on Dave and Johnny Live, because he says nonsense like that.
What are you talking about? I like what
keep
Johnny
you,
said.
We keep you where we need you on Ringside Report. Thank you, AJ. We love you big time. Thank you, everybody, for checking in on the chat. Daniel Winston, Helium Siam, Bob Cote, Mad Dog Vachon, not the real Mad Dog, but we love you nonetheless. Patrick C. Hamilton, Derek John, Atham Longcoomer, who did I say here? Bob Cote, Acme Tunes, everybody checking in. Thank you for watching the show, everybody chatting, everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook. We appreciate it very much, and we will be back for Wrestling Uncensored for the WrestleMania preview Saturday morning here on the channel, and then we will all be back together for the WrestleMania watch-alongs this weekend, Saturday and Sunday night at 8 p.m. WrestleMania will start at 7, but we're going to give you a little buffer, get settled in, we'll get settled in, and then we'll start the show at 8 p.m.
Go,
Both
bro.
nights
Go.
with special guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. So tune in this weekend to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video as well. When you subscribe, click the bell so you get notifications every time we're on. Also, the videos will be available at ringsidereport.net and also on Facebook Live. Guys, just before we go, I think we're seeing another question here from our man Daniel Winston. He says Mark Henry's mad because he wants Matt Riddle to fight Goldberg for the Universal title at WrestleMania 36. I see. So Mark Henry disappointed that we're not getting to see Riddle step in there against Goldberg. And I agree it was a missed opportunity. I don't think they're ever going to do that match, though, because I think there's too much real heat between them, and I don't trust Goldberg to be a professional in that match. What do you think, John?
Well, think about it both ways. I don't know if Matt Riddle would be professional. I think Matt Riddle might try to shoot on Goldberg.
How do you think that
Riddle
would go?
Riddle taps Goldberg.
Easily. Riddle smashes Goldberg. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't think you guys realize. I mean, a lot of people might not realize. AJ might be confused by it. And I don't know why AJ's confused by it, because AJ knows that Matt Riddle fought in the UFC and Bill Goldberg played for the Atlanta
And got
Falcons.
And he's 60, no?
Yeah. Yeah, Goldberg is
50,
like in his 50s. Riddle is still in his mid-30s, still could be effective in the UFC. Goldberg has never fought a day in his life, even though he pretends that he did.
Well, I think the main
Don't
reason
mess with
people get
Goldberg.
mad is because there's legit heat. And like you've said in the past, that's what sells. People want to see guys that don't like each other fight each other.
Yeah, well, that's how you do good business. That's a good match. It's a match that
Not all
people
the
want.
time.
That's what people want to see. But I'm not sure that Riddle and Goldberg could put their personal differences aside to be professionals and have a good match. I think Riddle could. He's a pretty chill guy, bro.
Well, I think he's
But did
just
he get
trying to
banned
get
from
noticed
UFC?
right now.
Yeah, AJ, he got banned from UFC for smoking weed.
I think more than that.
No, it wasn't more than that. Go back and read the story of Matt Riddle. I remember what happened to Matt Riddle. He kept wanting to smoke weed. He kept getting suspended for smoking weed. I think he lost a fight for smoking weed, which is
He
crazy.
tested
Well,
positive
it got
for
overturned, right?
substance.
Yeah, like didn't a fight get overturned to a no contest because he tested positive for weed? Remember when
I just
that
know
used
he
to
has the
happen?
great. I know he has the greatest voice intonation. Like he has the perfect pothead voice, and go
Yeah.
Matt Riddle.
Riddle beat Che Mills in February 2013 at UFC on Fuel TV in London, England. Okay? He won by split decision. The win was overturned when he tested positive for cannabis. Matt Riddle was 8-3 as a pro
Shameful.
MMA fighter.
Listen, if AJ says this, if Dada doesn't like Riddle, AJ don't like Riddle. Let's go, Goldberg.
All right, AJ. Thanks, everybody, for watching
Wow.
the show. Watch our shows this weekend. AJ's totally ridiculous. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Freddie. Love you guys. Love everybody watching. Thank you.
Tiger
Bye-bye.
King.
Thank you for watching the Tiger
Free
King,
Joe,
Dave and Johnny
free
Live.
Joe, free